Hello, this is Brian Houle. I am a solutions consultant with Beyond 20, and today I want to talk about how you might think about migrating security groups from one system to another. Now, obviously, we can't really migrate them. Security groups are one of those things in Cherwell that is system specific. They do not come over in blueprints, and they do not go over as exports. So usually you have to rebuild them. However, I had the case where I was working with a client, and we were working on a system with a lot of security group configuration directly on their system. And when time came to migrate, we thought, we can bring over all the blueprints, but those security group configurations will have to be done by hand. Well, not quite. So what you can do is you can do this through the def editor or the definitions editor in Cherwell. The definitions editor is a utility that ships with Cherwell and allows you to go into the definitions themselves and edit them directly. I do not recommend you play with the definition editor lightly. You can very quickly, very easily, and irrevocably mess up your system. So as with everything, test it on a development system or a Hyper-V or other VM before you do anything on your production system. I can't stress that enough. The definition editor in your prod system, very volatile mixture. Just make sure you have lots of backups and lots of backup plans. But anyway, I'm going to sally forth. So here's our definition editor. I'm going to open that up, and it's going to ask me for my database, and I'll go ahead and do that. Try that one more time. Okay, and here is our Trebuchet definition editor. This means we're working with all the XML, all the definitions in the database that define our system. So what I'm going to do to migrate a security group, I have a particular security group that I'm interested in, and it is this one. So if I go to edit security groups, I drop this down. I've created this super user security group. It's a copy of the first level support, but it's different enough, and it's detailed enough that I want to be able to move it without having to recreate it. There could be lots of expressions as part of this. For instance, you can limit on business objects what a person with this security group can see. So if we look at something like, change request, limit records based on criteria, you can get pretty detailed with your expressions here. So what I want to do is not do that again. So I'm going to migrate it. So I'm going to close that. No, I don't want to save it. So I'm back in the definitions editor, and I'm going to drop this down. What I'm looking for are my security groups, my definition type. And very handily, the definition comes up. I can choose which definition to choose. So I'm going to choose super user, and there it is. So all I have to do is copy this out, and then I can paste it into something like Notepad. Because what I want to do is just paste that right back into my editor. So I'm going to find my Notepad. There it is. Put it into Notepad++. There we go. So that is my super user security group definition. So I'm going to keep that to the side. Now, the next step is I'm going to go to my next system, and I want to import this back in. And so here I am in another system. And as you can see, this system, this demo system, does not have my super user security group. I want to put it in there. So I'm going to go out of that, and I'm going to go back into my definition editor. I closed it the last time because I need to go into the new database. So there's the definition editor. I'm going to go into my demo. There it is. And now I still want to change my definition type to security group. But as you can see, super user is not here. So where do I put it? Well, what I do is I create new. It's going to create me a new definition of this definition type. So I click new, and I'm going to name this, let's call it super user. And everything else is default. I click OK. So now what I'm going to do is go into my notepad. There it is. And this, again, this is my super user definition from the previous system. And I'm going to select all that, delete it, and paste that in. And then all I do is save. There we go. I've modified the system. I didn't have to publish. I don't have a rollback. So if you make a wrong move, you're in trouble. So let's see how that worked. So I'm going to close that definition editor, close my notepad. And what you have to do is to get those kind of definition editor changes to come up is you need to close out of your Orange Pill, your admin tool, and log back in. Okay, we're going to go into security, edit security groups, and there is my super user security group back in my demo database. So there you have it. So that is a quick way to take security group configurations and move them between systems using the definitions editor. Again, if you use the definitions editor, be very careful. Take lots of backups because it's very easy to damage your system that way. But it can be a useful tool when you need to get around a couple of limitations like migrating security groups. It's an easy way to do it, and it saves you a lot of time. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more Cherwell videos. Thanks.